Hello, how's everybody doing? It is 12:15. It's Wednesday, and I am here to support you as a mom. My name is Deborah Porter. I am with the Moms Mentoring Circle, and I support at-home moms with systems to help organize their lives, their kids, their homes, and also to help them realize their own dreams and desires. So, we are just about 10 days out from our day, moms. Mother's Day. It is coming. And I want to encourage you to be thinking about how is it that you want to celebrate the mother that you are, right? Because we are all in different stages of motherhood. So some of us are past the homemade cards with the little handprints and mommy, I love you. We're past that stage. Some of us are going to be spending Mother's Day with our own mothers or our mother-in-laws or bigger family gatherings. Some of our children who have already launched are living away from us. They're not in the same state, they're not in the same city, and so we may not see them. And so I really want to give you some time, which is why I'm kind of talking about this today as opposed to next Wednesday. But I really want to give you some time to be thinking about how you want to celebrate the mother that you are and not to leave that really to someone else. But you have the opportunity to really celebrate the mother that you are. So whether you're going to do that on Saturday or on Monday because of other family commitments on Mother's Day, which is about 10 days away, please do me a huge favor and really yourself a huge favor. Hey, Jerry, and really set aside an opportunity for you to celebrate the mother that you are and not to turn that over to someone else to do. All right, so enough of that. Today, we're going to be talking about working ourselves out of a job. Jerry, you know what that's like. You completely get that. So I want to ask that question. I want to ask that question to all of us. Are we working ourselves out of a job? So I heard this quote or read it somewhere the other day, and I thought this was so appropriate. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it right off my paper. It says, a mother's job is to teach her children not to need her anymore. The hardest part of that job is accepting success. That's a little heavy right there. A mother's job is to teach her children not to need her anymore. The hardest part of that job is accepting success. So I just want to talk about that for a few minutes today. I'm not going to be on here long, maybe 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. But I really want us to think about that in our own lives and how that looks, how that shows up, and how do we actually do that? How do we actually work ourselves out of a job and then be able to celebrate the success of that and not mourn the success of having done that? All right, so I've got one other thing that I want to read. I'm doing a little bit more reading than talking here at the top of the live because I've just found some things that I really think connected with me that I think you guys will understand and get too as a mom. So this particular thing that I read was actually talking about working yourself out of a job in a business setting, right? In an office setting. But this is what the gentleman said. Working yourself out of a job means building up your team in such a way that someday you could walk away from the project and everything would continue running. But in order for this to happen, you must invest greatly in your team. You must push and inspire them to grow and improve their skill set. During this process, you're also working yourself out of a job, but focusing yourself up onto the next opportunity. Hey, Debbie Mercer. So this particular situation, the gentleman was explaining working yourself out of a job, training up your team, pouring into them, investing in them to a point where if you were to walk away, the project would continue. But as you're doing that, you're also looking at and working yourself into your next opportunity. I think that completely applies to us. Although we as the moms are not walking away, our children will grow up and launch. They are leaving. That is one of the outward signs of success, I think, for us as parents, is that our children fly. They leave. So if we're doing that correctly, and I think if we're doing that to a point that benefits the children, then we have to also be thinking about, as they are approaching that launching pad and as they are approaching that runway to launch, what are we doing for ourselves as moms so that when they launch, we're not mourning, right? And when could be celebrating the success of our parenting and the success of what we've done in parenting them, we're mourning because they're gone. All right, so today we're going to talk about, are you working yourself out of a job? Hey, Darlene, I only have like 2 or 3 points. I'm not going to be on here long. So the first thing is, how do you work yourself out of a job as a mother? First, you really have to come to the realization that that's really what you want to do, and that you grasp that and you get that. And that the important thing is, I am working myself out of a job. I am having to teach my children how to not need me. At the top of the live, I read this motto that I found online, and the author is unknown, but it says, a mother's job is to teach her children not to need her anymore. The hardest part of that job is accepting success. Debbie Mercer says, I agree. My 4 children are on their own and I feel so proud. And you should, Debbie, you really should, because that's not everybody's story. And look, I'm not here to shame anybody. Look, at any moment, any of our kids may need to come back home and to regroup and to replan and to think out what they're going to do. No shame in that. But what I am saying is that as they are growing and stretching and launching, we have to be able to accept the success that is, as opposed to mourning the loss of them. Okay? So 3 points, how to work yourself out of a job. The first thing is, you want to invest in the growth of your children, pushing and inspiring them to grow, to improve, and to stretch, right? So that they are not fearful of situations that they're not completely in control of, or that they completely can determine what the outcome will be. And some of the ways that we do that, some of the ways that we can invest in them and invest in them launching and being successful, is delegating away the pieces of their life that they can handle at certain ages and stages. So not continuing to run every single detail of their life. When they come to you with an issue or problem, being able to say, wow, what are you going to do about that? As opposed to, oh, I know exactly what we need to do. I got it. Don't worry about it. Well, they do need to kind of worry about it a little bit more than we're worrying about it, because it's really their life and it's their growing and it's their development that we're trying to really help with and support. The other thing is releasing the grip, right? For those of us that were authoritative parents, guilty, releasing the grip, even if it's a slow release. But being able to release that grip and allow them, we've talked about this before, allow them to experience disappointment, allow them to experience failure. You know, this whole thing where everybody on the team gets a trophy, I'm not really into that. I'm not into a 7th place trophy. I think that, there are times when our children need to learn how to celebrate other children's success. If everybody gets a trophy, then why are we giving trophies at all? Jerry says, no helicopter parenting. Exactly. Darlene says, yes, I'm very proud too. My children are all grown and on their own and learning how to raise their own children. That's amazing. That's an amazing success. That is an amazing accomplishment, because that's not everybody's story. Okay, so we're talking about delegating away the pieces of their life, releasing the grip slowly, asking them questions more than telling them what to do, so that they can start thinking. They've got to be able to process and think through when a problem arises, so that they can figure out how to then handle it and what some appropriate steps are in resolving it. So one of the things I see on in every article or every list that I've read about, raising successful children, or, raising happy and healthy children, or happy and healthy parenting, one thing is consistently on every list I've ever seen, and that is making your children do chores. I cannot tell you how many children do not do chores anymore. Like, don't wash dishes, don't make their bed, don't wash their own laundry. These are just very basic life skills. And for us in our house, it was your contribution to the household. Like, we didn't pay for chores. We didn't pay for chores. I mean, if you left money in your pocket and I was washing clothes that day, and I was washing your clothes that day, which really happened when my children were younger, whatever I find is mine. That's my tip. But we didn't pay out money for your chores because that's part of your contribution to the running and the functioning of our home and our family. We did pay, however, for grades. We paid for grades. And if the grades were not what we expected, you paid us. We got some of that money back. So, every family and every household has to determine what works for them. But chores and that responsibility and that need to kind of chip in and pitch in and being part of the team and not getting any kind of payment for it is also a character build. It's helping them to determine and develop into adults that are able to contribute to the team, right? Okay, so that was point number 1 for how to work yourself out of a job, investing in the growth of our children, pushing and inspiring them to grow and to stretch. So point number 2 is making sure you are making time to focus on you and the things that are important to you and the things that you enjoy as a mom, so that as they launch, you're not only feeling or experiencing the loss, but you're able to celebrate in the success that what you did was good and that it turned out as you had hoped that it would. So you may be thinking, well, what will I do? If you're a stay-at-home mom, right? You're thinking, my kids are getting to that point. What am I going to do? It may or may not be going back to a traditional job or something that may look like a traditional job, a part-time job. It may or may not be picking up a hobby or a passion or something that you have always wanted to do, right? It may or may not be discovering new things that you want to try or experiment with. The idea is, as your children are launching and as you're working yourself out of that job, you need to be working yourself into your next new opportunity or thing that you want to do. Darlene says, I love that, Debbie. No praise for what you are supposed to do. Darlene also says, but praise for accomplishment. Absolutely. Absolutely. Their schoolwork is like our job. Right? They're putting in effort. They're working hard. They're studying. They're putting in the time. I think they should be rewarded for that. Not for washing your own clothes. Who's supposed to wash your clothes? They're your clothes, right? Anyway, okay, I digress. All right, so we're talking now about focusing on you, right? We're still talking about working yourself out of a job. So the first part of that is investing into your children so that they have the tools they need to successfully launch. The second part of that, though, is not neglecting the investing into yourself, and also looking for and working yourself into your next opportunity. So those are the two things that I think for most of us, especially at-home moms, it's important that we don't lose ourselves in mothering. Hey, Darlie, how are you? Good afternoon. You don't want to lose yourself in mothering. It's an amazing experience. It's fantastic. I love every minute of it and have loved every minute of it. But here's the thing. I am a human being raising a human being. So I don't have to lose me. I don't have to lose my own desires, my own dreams, my own goals because I'm a mother. I think that it's also important that our children realize and know that they're part of the family. My husband used to tell the kids this all the time. Your mother and I were a family when we got married. God added you to the family. You didn't make us a family. We were a family. Cliff and I married, starting our home. We were a family. God added the kids to the family. So I think it's important that our children realize that our world does not revolve around them. The other thing I will say is that if you are married, if you are a mom, chick with kids, and you are married, I would encourage you to keep your marriage as the priority and keep your marriage as the primary and first relationship. Because here's the thing, your kids are going to leave. And you don't want to be across that dinner table looking at your husband thinking like, okay, so who are you again? What, I think I like you. What? That relationship should remain primary. That is the relationship that produced those children. That is the relationship that remains even after the children are gone. Darlene says, sorry, I have to go back to work. Can't wait to read your book. Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate you. It's on the way as well. So remember, you are, as a mom, you're a human being raising a human being. You still have your own wants, desires, dreams, passions. You still have all of that. So those things don't have to be sacrificed for motherhood. So I want you to be thinking about this, and I'm really wrapping up at this point. But when our children begin to respond like they no longer need us, when they tell you, I got it, Mom. I got it. I got it. This is probably one of the only outward appearances you're going to have of the fact that you're actually doing your job, because that really should be the response. That really should be the response. Our children being able to say, oh, I got it, Mom. I got it. No problem. Don't worry about it. I got it. Because if they are continually coming to us with every problem, if they are continuing to require us to fix every issue, then maybe we need to kind of go back to the drawing board and see what we forgot, what we didn't give them. What did we leave out in those times of pouring into them and trying to develop them? So those are the points for today. I want you as moms to really focus on working yourself out of a job. Sam, hey Sam. Sam says no trophy for 7th place. Yeah, Sam, no trophy for 7th place. Jerry says you are husband and wife before you became mom and dad. Absolutely. Debbie says thinking about going to law school. Debbie, go to law school, girl. You would be an amazing attorney. Do it. Absolutely. Put it down, write it down. I always say write it down and kind of start at the end and back it up so that you can get all your steps filled in and you know where you need to begin. Don't start with where you need to start, supposedly, but start at the end of what the end result is and then back it up. That's incredible. Please keep me posted on that. So I'm wrapping up. I just want to mention a couple of things. I mentioned a couple, maybe a week ago, that I was collaborating with this book series, the Dear Fear book series. I'm one of the 10 authors in the latest volume. So if you're interested in purchasing that, I'll put up a link. We have our first book signing here in the Alexandria area this Saturday at 3 o'clock. I'll also put that up for anybody that may be in the area and may be interested. You guys know that really at my core, I'm here to support you as a mom in any way that I can. If you need or want to have a conversation offline, more specifically about what you've got going on and how we can support you, I'll also put up a link for that, and you can get right on my calendar and we can take care of that. If you still need the summer cheat sheet, a few weeks ago we offered a summer cheat sheet, which is full of camps, programs all over the country for your student, for your child, some free, some low fee, some higher fee, depending on what experience you want your child to have. If you want that cheat sheet for your children, for your nieces and nephews, your grandchildren, just send me your email. You can inbox it to me, or if you don't mind, you can put it right here in the comments, completely up to you. And we already have that sheet already done. I can get that out to you by the end of the week at the latest. All right, I appreciate you.